Today I'm filming my Q&A that I said I was going to do on my Snapchat. My Snapchat is just Polly Joyce. I wanted to film a Q&A because I really want to get back into filming, and I've been watching Q&As and I just really like them. So, and I actually asked people on Snapchat, did they have a few questions for me? And people did. I was amazed. And it's really cool when they have like questions specifically tailored to you. It's not like what's your favourite colour, actually questions. So that was quite cool. I filmed this already answering the question, one question about my mum, and it took me 12 minutes to answer. So I looked at it and I was like, I have to cut this down. I have to stop the blurb. The question was, how did my mum come to live in Connemara, and how did I ever live in England? Also, they said that they loved mum's accent, which I got that comment so much on Snapchat. People are like, your mum and Nikki's accents are just great, or like, you know, loads of people have actually said, could I film with them? But it's impossible. I'll put in this clip where I was asking mum to come and answer this question for me. Mom! Somebody's asked a question, right, but it's a question for you on my Snapchat, and I'm filming a video answering the questions.
What do they want to know?
What?
What do they want to know?
They want to know, how did your mum come to live in Connemara? Did you live in England for any of your...
Fuck's sake. What?
What?
Whole history of my life. How did I come to live in Connemara?
Yes, a brief summary.
I don't know, I got lost.
Mom.
And then I ended up here. How it happened, truthfully.
What?
I got lost.
Mom.
I got lost in my life.
Mom.
And then I wandered around and came to this wonderful wild spot of Connemara and fell in love with a sheep farmer. That was the beginning of the end. The end.
Okay, thanks for that.
It's okay.
Can you close that door?
So you're going to say terrible things.
Just heard mum go out the door there and she's like, now, she belonged to the royal family. She did not belong to the royal family. So basically, the basic short answer was, mum was actually born in Limerick. Her family moved around a lot, and her mum and dad, well, her mum would actually be originally from London, so they did live in Oxford and Swerford. Swerford's probably in Oxford, I have no idea. But they moved around a lot. So mum was actually born in Limerick, lived in Tipperary, lived in Wicklow. She went to boarding school over in London for her secondary school. She went to national school in Wicklow, I think, yeah. And then when she came back from boarding school, her parents had bought a farm in Connemara, and mum came here, loved it, and decided she was going to stay. And that's how mum came to Connemara. So actually, I know she has a posh accent. It was only really her school time that she lived over in England. The rest of it was all over in Ireland. It's because her parents would have had quite posh accents, and that is why I was asked, did I ever live over in England? No, but mum was basically mother and father to me, so I've picked up my accent from mum more so than from Connemara. I still think I have a bit of a, I won't say Connemara accent or like Irish accent. I still think I have a bit of a culty accent. Sometimes it comes out, like I say, oh, that's class, and like any of my cousins or family from England are like, oh, you have such an Irish accent. I'm like, well, people think I'm really posh, so it's can't win. But anyway, I think that's a shortened down version. There's a much longer version, but it's too long for a Q&A. Anyway, my next question was, what age am I? I got this from Snapchat, so I'm guessing people don't think I look 26. I'm 26 and I'm 27 in May. And thank you very much. I know this is halfway through. I can't remember if I said it at the introduction or not. Thank you very much for everyone who sent those Snapchat questions in. I think I have mentioned this. I think I've said it already, but I'm saying it again. Thank you very much for sending them in. Next question. Some of them are like really long ones. What's going to be my job? Because this person said that I talk a lot on Snapchat about like what's next, but I never actually tell anybody what's next. That's because I don't know. I know that I don't want to stay nursing as in a ward situation, because it's just not for me. I like nursing, but I don't love it, and I definitely want to do something that I love. And maybe it's nursing in a different form, but I don't know yet. My favourite quote. Okay, so I have it on my phone here. Well, it's not my favourite quote, but it's one of my favourite quotes from Rafiki, from The Lion King. And it's, "Oh yes, the past can hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it." I really like that one. Bad experience and good experience with nursing. So, a bad experience, I've thought about these and I've chosen them carefully because I don't want to wreck patient confidentiality or tell people terrible things or whistle blow or anything like that. So my bad experience is, I'm gonna go with a basic one. It's not really basic. I once had a patient who was a drug addict and was HIV positive and got very angry at me when I was a student, and like a pretty terrified student, and threatened to come at me with their needle that they had plunged into themselves. And so I was like, ah. A good experience, I had a patient, a bariatric patient, so a patient who was very overweight. We were going to try and transfer them, but while we were transferring them, the bed that they were going to go onto made a noise. So for everyone else that was like, yeah, totally normal. But I knew, because I had been there, I had sat on chairs that when they squeaked and you were like, oh god, it's gonna break. I know that fear. So while I was just a student and I was just there, like I think I was holding something, or you know, just standing there with my nurse as my preceptor, when that happened, I remember just saying, it's going to be fine, it can hold you, do not worry about it. Whereas nobody else in the room had thought that I was freaking out, and they thought they were freaking out for something completely different, or that they were just being annoying. But I knew that that's what they were worried about. And when I told them that, poor, it keeps coming in and out. When I told them that, like, I was like, do not worry, it can hold you. There's this weight limit on it. You are way below that. It's going to be fine. And I remember they were like, okay. And at that time I remember thinking, I was able to help. I was able to help. Because I knew what they were panicking about. Whereas everyone else was like giving out to them. And I was like, you don't realise that it's the noise of that bed freaked that person out. You'll notice if this is a bit clippy, it's because I keep using a male or female words, and I don't want to use that. I want to keep it all neutral. So that's fine, just in case. So yeah, that was a really good moment for me. I felt like I was able to help, and I felt like my terrible experiences, I was like, for me going through that, I was able to help somebody, and that made it like totally worth it. Well, not really totally worth it, but it was worth it. What country would I like to live in and why? And they said be specific. So home, Ireland, always home, because I am such a home bird. But if not Ireland and home, it would have to be somewhere kind of warm, kind of hippie-ish. So I've thought either Hawaii, New Zealand, or Barcelona. Barcelona, I know it's a city, so I wouldn't really be into that, but I do love Barcelona. I would happily go there and live there for a little while, but not for life. New Zealand, I would like to be living near the sea, in the wilds, because that would remind me of home. But also I think New Zealand's pretty cool. I think that's quite hippie-ish. And then Hawaii, because that's just my dream. Hawaii is my dream. For a little while, I'll probably go there and be like, oh, this is quite basic. But yeah, that's what I really, that's where I would like to go. Hawaii, I would like to live in like a wooden shack right on the beach. With like wind chimes and like a porch. And in New Zealand, I think I'd like to have quite a modern place, and a big farm. What?
That's really good.
What course did I do? So I think you're probably asking about nursing. I did the general nursing course in NUIG, and I started in 2011 for 4 years. Before that, I had gone to do GTI in Galway Technical Institute. Is that it? And I had done an art portfolio. And whenever I say art, people are like, Irish? They think I'm saying Irish. I did an art portfolio. And I started that for maybe 2 months at a push. And then I quit because I hated it. It was because I was homesick. I kind of wish I'd carried on doing it, but oh well. I don't regret it, but I was homesick and I hated it. I was in a little nook. They were telling me to draw negative space. I didn't have a clue about negative space. I just wanted to be creative and not learn how to draw first. I just wanted to like be colourful. So I felt it wasn't for me and I quit. When I quit GTI, I went on and I did lots of volunteering, a lot of volunteering. And then I went and I did a special needs assistant course. So I'm a special needs assistant. I kind of forget that I am. So yeah, I did that. And then I did nursing because I was like, I really like all this. I was volunteering with a lot of charities. I was volunteering with a lot of charities and I was working with a lot of young people, like working with a lot of kids, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I want to help out people. And how do I do that? Well, nursing seems like the good course to start with. That could be my stepping stone. So nursing was always going to be a stepping stone for me. That's why I don't put too much pressure on myself, and I'm like, it was never the wrong course for me because it was never going to be the end goal for me. So yeah, that's all the courses I did, and I don't know what I'm going to do now. I talked about doing the community development one, a master's, but I just don't know, and I don't want to throw myself into a master's if I don't know what it is. Favorite next travel. So next travel booked, I have Ibiza in June with Porrick, and I have Glastonbury coming up in June as well. So I'm probably going to be gone for the whole month of June in Ibiza and Glastonbury. Literally, I sound like I could be on Geordie Shore or something. But I am trying to plan for Budapest. I really want to go to Budapest. I've got such bad pins and needles, I can't sit up straight. My celebrity crush. What? It's Porrick. Yeah. I will always and forever be Porrick. Just had to show you that he was there. But actually it's Harrison Ford. Young Harrison Ford. Or Johnny Flynn. Am I the jealous type? Not with Porrick. I'm not the jealous... No, I'm not the jealous type of Porrick because I obviously trust Porrick and love Porrick very much. But am I the jealous type with other people? Yes, 100%. I'm the green-eyed monster completely. I see girls on Snapchat doing things and I'm like, ah, and it's not with them. It's never like I'm jealous of them and then I belittle them. Well, I do sometimes, and that's horrible of me. But no, I don't that much. It's that I see them and I'm like, I'll beat myself up about it more. So sometimes I'll try and find faults with them so that I'm not beating myself up as much. And I'm stopping that a bit, but I'm gonna be honest, and that's what I do. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I'm like, how has this person done this many things with their freaking life and I'm still here? But then very slowly they obviously become my inspiration, or they'll give me some motivation. So I mean, that's good too, but because if I answered that jealousy question and said, no, I'm not, Lily would just go insane because she's always saying that to me. She's like, you literally can't stand anybody else having been doing well. And yes, to a certain point, but also that's the reason. Because if I just beat myself up about it, I'm like, why aren't you doing that? What's wrong with you? How come you're so lame? So I'm like, well, they bought all their followers, or they actually have a terrible life. Otherwise, you know, they might be the most amazing person, but actually, so that's kind of what I do. And I'm trying to stop. I'm just being honest. Favorite country from last year? So it was Florence in Italy. I know Florence isn't a country. Italy was my favorite country, and Florence, but I was in Sicily as well, so I have to divide it. Florence, definitely, 100%. I went with Mom, Nikki and Lily, and I loved it. I loved different places for different reasons. I loved Sicily because it was fun. I was with the girls. I loved Warsaw because I thought it was all going to be bleak, and it wasn't bleak at all. I loved Paris because it was Paris and I was with Porrick. Loads of other reasons. I loved Portugal because I got a beautiful tan. I loved Copenhagen because I went with Clara and that was such a laugh. I loved Oslo. I didn't really love Oslo. Oslo was a terrible trip. But I did actually like Oslo. It was just terrible. That was so scary. That's all my questions for today. Thank you very much for sending them in. I'm now going to have to do some like relationship counselling with Porrick because he's heard some of my answers. And it's only Harrison Ford because like Lily has been sharing so many pictures of him as a young person. I knew he was good looking anyway, but then like when Lily keeps sending them or keeps tagging them every day, I'm like, he is very good looking. But also Johnny Flynn. He's in Lovesick. He's a singer. If you don't know what he looks like, go and look it up. He's basically a blonde Porrick. So yeah, thank you very much for your questions. I hope you enjoyed my answers. My legs have got such bad pins and needles. I am in agony now, so I'm going to have to sit here rocking for a while before I turn the camera off, and then I'm going to go say hello to Porrick. And yes, goodbye.